what it means to be president of the United
Louisiana.
States. And that has been a great partner for our city. He was
very
with us after
noisy,
Katrina.
rally
They have both been here in our darkest
Bill
hours, and we
Clinton,
will be
who's
with
coming
them
to speak
when they
in
need us
Louisiana
to elect the next
to
president of the United
promote
States.
Hillary
Please help me
Clinton.
welcome President
And here he
William
comes.
Jefferson Clinton.
Now, I thought maybe there was a Republican virus planted in the microphone. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Landrieu, not just for being a friend, a supporter, but for being, I think, a truly great mayor of this city and working with all of you. Thank you. I don't use notes much, so I don't need that. I want to say how grateful I am to all of you who are supporting Hillary, the officials who are here, Karen Carter-Peterson, the state party chair, our organizer, Naja Daniels, who made that field pitch. We got to get a big vote out of here, and we need you very much. But I'd like to thank, most of all, the mothers who've lost their children to violence, who were just introduced, because they symbolize a very important part of America's challenge and a very important part of Hillary's campaign. And I'd like to tell you why. How many of you heard President Obama's last State of the Union speech? Okay. It was a really good speech. And here's what he said. He said, I know we have problems, but you shouldn't be afraid. You should be confident, because we are already in better shape than any other big country in the world economically. We have 14 million jobs in the last 5 years. That's the most we've had since that other Democrat, what's his name, was president. And he said we got 90% of our people, I'm gonna pick this up, I'm a neat freak. He said we got 90% of our people with health insurance for the first time in the history of the country. And many of them little children who would otherwise not have it. We are the youngest, most diverse country on earth, so we're even better positioned for the future. We have the best system of education and training. We have the best base of science and technology. So be not afraid. Embrace change. Everything he said was true. What's the problem? Why is all this craziness? You heard that debate last night? I thought, what am I watching? The last one, I thought they were going to kill each other. I thought I was watching a 6th grade recess fight. And I didn't know what to make of that deal last night. I just was speechless. And I think the less I say, the better about that. But the point is, there's a lot of anxiety in both parties, a lot of churning feelings. And why? Because the president painted this beautiful picture of America's future. And there's still an enormous number of our fellow Americans who can't find their picture, their own picture in that painting. And in a sentence, Hillary is running for president to put every single person in this country in that picture, so we can all rise together. And start with these brave women here and the work they're doing in reconciliation and the willingness they've shown to meet with the mothers of young people who killed their children. the struggle to try to come to terms with all this. The world that the president talked about doesn't even exist in some neighborhoods today. Some of you know that in my other life with my foundation, I spend lots of time in Africa. And I work with 100,000 farmers there and try to help millions of people with healthcare issues. But in the central part of Eastern Africa where we work, when people meet each other, nobody's got a car. Hardly anybody's got a wagon. They just walk. And when they meet each other, walking back and forth, if you say hello, good morning, how are you? The answer there, translated into English, is, I see you. Think of that. Think about the dignity that confers. Think about what that means. I see you. Now, just for this day, just for the rest of this day, do a little experiment on yourself. Go through your day and think about how many people you will see today that you normally would not have seen. I just left having a nice breakfast with the mayor. I always try to see the people who are serving me. And at least I think about the people in the kitchen that prepared the food. This is important. Everybody in the world has moments where they feel unseen. And there are plenty of people who do not see the children of violence, for whom all the possibility in the world is irrelevant if they don't think they can grow up and finish their childhood. They don't think they can go down the street. They don't think they are seen by millions of people because they're not scared. If you look at these overall statistics, it looks like the murder rate's down. It looks like everything's hunky-dory, except in the pockets where it is not safe to be a child. So the first thing is you got to elect a president who sees everybody. Because you can't fix a problem or redeem a promise for someone you don't see. Yes, we need police reform in places where police have gone over the line and taken people's lives away. But we also need the police in places where children feel the sting and threat of gang violence more. We need both. We need more police officers who look like the people they are policing, walking the streets, not riding in cars. And that will make our neighborhoods safer. It will make the police safer and less afraid. And it will enable us to go forward together. And as Mayor Landrieu always says, if you look at what happened in the Boston Marathon or in San Bernardino, it also can be our first line of defense against terrorist attacks here on our home soil. If we are connected again, if we see each other. When Hillary was running in South Carolina, she was joined by a lot of the parents of children who've been killed in these high-profile killings that we've all read about. But she didn't want to make the point that we don't need the police. She wanted to make the point is we got to start seeing each other again. We can't let these children have died for nothing. We have to redeem the sacrifice by saying we're going to stop it and we're going to do it together and we're going to do it and still have the police we need because we are doing it together. We're going to reknit the community with the police. Hold people accountable who do things wrong but help people to begin again. That's what they're doing. With this Racial Reconciliation Commission from Mississippi, headed by former Governor Winter, who's a great friend of mine. We were together yesterday in Jackson. And if you think about it, look, I work all over the world. So I was president for 8 years. I was governor for 12 years of your neighboring state in Arkansas. Then I spent 15 years going out in the world just trying to make something good happen. Now, here's what I know. Wherever people work together, across lines that would otherwise divide them, good things are happening. Wherever people think all that matters is their differences, and all they care about is themselves and their crowd, bad things are happening.
That's right.
This is not rocket science. It is a universal rule. And therefore, when I hear the debate on the other side, and they say, oh, you know, it's all the Mexicans' fault. Build a wall across the Rio Grande River. You know, sometimes it's a bad thing to be shooting at the wrong target. Undocumented immigration from Mexico peaked in 2005. There are fewer Mexicans living in America today than there were in 2010. Why are we talking about this? Because we always need a whipping boy. We always need a whipping boy. Who can we blame today? It's time we stop blaming and started embracing our diversity, embracing our culture, and building our future. That's what Hillary's whole campaign's about. Our whole campaign's about. I can give a lot of other examples, but I'm just telling you, if you live in a world or a neighborhood where there are no real barriers, you have to find a way to work together and live together. That's why Hillary said, it's downright dangerous what those guys are doing, saying all the things they say about our fellow Americans who are Muslims. Because the overwhelming majority of them hate terror, hate violence, love this country, and we need them to win the battle of the brains over the social media that is the poison creeping in to what caused San Bernardino. How are we going to win that without our Muslim brothers and sisters helping us to put out there telling the story? So let's begin with this. Everything the president said is true. We ought to be upbeat, happy, joyous, hallelujah. Look how well New Orleans is doing compared to 10 years ago. Look at all the new investment that's coming here. Look at everything that's happening. We can do this for America. We do have to build new ladders of opportunity.
Hallelujah.
We got so many more jobs we can hit so that everybody can get a pay raise. That's the real beef here. We got more jobs, but they're not the higher paying jobs, and we're not raising incomes. That's not hard to do. We have to invest in modernizing our infrastructure. I'll give you an example. It's not just roads and bridges and ports like here and airports. It's what's under the ground. Flint, Michigan broke everybody's heart. Here's the bad news. It's by far the only place, and not the only place in America, where there are elevated lead levels in the bodies of children. Because they drank too much water out of old, rusted, busted out pipes. Because we as a country were too short-sighted to invest in modernizing that infrastructure. Hillary has a plan that says, suppose we get rid of the Flints everywhere in America and give every child a future, and if we do it, we'll create a zillion jobs. Nobody can export those jobs. They have to be done right here. Fix the pipes for everybody. Fix the infrastructure. Here's something else we ought to fix under the ground. If every American community, big and small, rich or poor, had access to universal, affordable, rapid broadband, we could remake a lot of the economies in this country with no other help than that. If we just did that for everybody. So that's a